Yeah, all very well. Welcome to the Citizen channel, and just a little special today. I did promise I'd come back there. The evening news has done a little feature, haven't they, obviously on Colin Bell, the King. Obviously on the Sunday edition, if you're lucky enough to get it. Obviously, if you've don't live in and around Manchester, you may have missed out on this little Pullout. 12 pages, that's all. I mean, you probably could have multiplied that numerous times, couldn't you, for actually to actually get the full story of Colin Bell. But there's enough out there. If you check around, look on Google Colin Bell and various things, there's lots of things from people like Dr. Gary James and stuff like that. Ian Cheeseman, obviously. You've got the book, which is interesting, Reluctant Hero. I've noticed there's only 3 copies on a certain auction site at the moment, and the one that's going to finish earliest as I'm recording this, it's up to £42, all the bids on that. So it's just a book you can't get on Amazon anymore, you can't get anywhere at the moment, so might be worth a reprint, that, mightn't it, Ian? So if you can have a word with the publishers, I'm sure it'd sell very well with a reprint, perhaps with a couple of additions to it. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? It was 2006 I think it came out, so yeah, there's a few things to say, perhaps add into it as well. So I think that might be a worthwhile venture, Ian, if you're watching. Obviously I do tag you in these things, but there you go. Yeah, so we're going to have a look at this evening news thing. Just a couple of things before we have a look at this. This is the thing, obviously there's one in the background there, but this is a copy there. I've not actually looked at it yet, so I'm just going to watch this brand new. I've just sort of held off reading through it, just so I could share it with you. And as I said, certainly if you're outside of Manchester, not been able to get hold of this, just to share a few comments and a few things that are said in it. Yeah, just looking around. Please, if you are new to this Citizen channel, please push that subscribe button and push the bell notifications if they're of interest to you. I do with all this city history and city present. That'd be great if you could do that. And obviously I do have a little film and TV channel as well, so if you can sort of check that out, or if there's any interest to you or anyone you might know, that'd be fantastic. And I do have Facebook and Twitter, so if you want to follow or friend me on there, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And please, if you like the vlogs, just give us a little thumbs up. It's nice to say. If you've seen my tribute to Colin that I did, almost 500 views I think last time I checked, a day or 2 ago. So if you've not seen that, please check out my personal Colin Bell tribute. It got a bit emotional. I don't think this will be emotional today. I'm sort of well, I didn't think I'd get emotional last time until I started reading certain things out, but hey, obviously we why not? I mean, that's how it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, if it's someone that say was personally my hero as a child growing up, as supporting my football team, and remained my hero ever since. So yeah, so check that out if you've not checked it out anyway, please. And I will put it in the links anyway. Yeah, just before we just talk about this, yeah, some great images there, wasn't it? I've got some great images on screen there that would take, I think that was a day after the announcement of Colin Bell's passing away. Just a few things outside Main Road. I'm sure there's a lot more there now, and I'm sure if people, obviously at the end of the day, if you are trying to behave and follow the COVID rules, you won't be going down to the Etihad unless you live local, obviously. But I'm sure under normal circumstances it would have been a bit of a shrine, wouldn't it, to Colin Bell? But still some great stuff, some nice stuff out there on the trees, etc., and on the fences and opposite the stand and stuff like that. So that was nice to see. Also, if you can check out iPlayer, yeah, BBC, a lot of people missed it, but Football Focus, obviously it was concentrating about the football, but obviously the little piece from Timothy Dalton, narrated by him on Colin Bell, and then obviously a little bit of studio discussion about him. Yeah, so if you check out iPlayer, BBC iPlayer, it's still on there. So if you look for Football Focus and just put Colin Bell, Football Focus, and it'll come on. It's near the start of the programme, so you don't have to suffer watching any other football thing that's on there. So yeah, that's a nice little tribute from Timothy Dalton. Of course, James Bond, of course, a well-known, some people didn't know, but yeah, a big City fan who actually used to watch Colin Bell. I probably rubbed shoulders with him at some stage at Main Road in the old days, but there you go. Yeah, it was nice to see if you watched the Birmingham game, obviously the little tribute, on the halfway line, the tribute image of the King at the Etihad Stadium. That was nice to see. A couple of things on Twitter I noticed. I was going to put them in my preview vlogs, but I'll just include them on here as well. A couple of nice images there. One from at Anjali deer, is it? A little image of Colin Bell that he drew. That's really nice. That took my eye. I like that. And of course, at Jess MCFCX, a big City fan she is, but with a Colin Bell top on there. But she's got quite a few compliments. Put it that way. When she put that on, it's fantastic. I wouldn't mind that top myself. Probably look better on me, wouldn't it? Obviously, let's be fair about it. But there you go. So yeah, and just checking if you look at other auction sites, if you put in Colin Bell, you can get the World Cup coins with Colin Bell on. You can get soccer cards, from as little as 99p. So if you've got a little bit of memorabilia, why not? Go on it. There's loads there. No doubt it might increase a little bit, but there's lots of those little soccer cards and chewing gum cards and Sun soccer cards, these sort of things. I'm sorry I mentioned the Sun there, but they used to do some good stuff. So yeah, there's lots of little bits of Bell memorabilia. And obviously magazines where he was on the front cover, the Shoot magazine and Goal magazines and stuff like that. So if you want anything of Colin Bell, obviously I've got loads of things dotted about myself. So if you want anything, just seek something out. You just want something, a little personal memento. And of course, in the Birmingham City digital programme that City put out, obviously say with no hard copy. Obviously, there's a nice thing. There's that dream team up there that you can see that was obviously, and the song with Colin. Number 1 is Colin Bell. Number 2 is Colin Bell, and all this sort of things. So that was in there. So that was nice to see. And some nice images there in various guys, various City kits, England kits, etc. as well that were in there. So that was okay. It would have been nice to have a. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get something a little bit more glossy than perhaps. I mean, this is nice. This is okay. Don't get me wrong. That's fine. But I'm sure there'll be something a little bit more glossy coming out in the near future from one of the publications or with City's official tag to it. Anyway, fantastic. Right, let's have a look at this, shall we? Let's have a look at Colin Bell, 1946 to 2021. King of the Kit Packs, a 12-page tribute to the City legend. I have no idea what's in here now, so I'm going to have a quick look at the first page. Let's have a look at the first page. Yeah, it's so by Simon Bukowski. So he's got involved in this. Colin Bell, King of the Kit Packs. Bell, a giant on the pitch, but a reluctant hero away from it. Yeah, Colin the King was a blues superstar, an idol to many, and one of the best footballers England has seen, but you would never have known it. Yeah, I mean, you think if you'd asked Pep, I mean, this he would be the perfect Pep player, wouldn't he? He'd be absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's going to be an image up there of that someone posted on Twitter. I'm not sure at what stage I'll show it, but yeah, of his taking a shot, and obviously you've got our own KDB in a similar sort of position, haven't you? And it's wonderful to show the comparisons. If you had to name a modern player who was like Colin Bell, it probably would be KDB, but perhaps KDB's not quite got the engine that Colin Bell had, in all fairness. Perhaps KDB had slightly better vision, but when you allow for the fact of the pitches we used to play on, yeah, you can't really take much away from Colin. I'm sorry, KDB, I love you to bits, but yeah, still Colin for me, I'm afraid. If you do try and think and compare of what they went, certainly if you think of Colin's peak, he was robbed of his peak. To be honest with you, if you think of the age KDB is now, obviously Colin Bell was injured at his prime, so he lost his best years. Really, he lost 2 or 3 seasons of where he would have been absolutely fantastic, even though he was anyway. I mean, even better. So there you go. Yeah, some nice image. Colin Bell, 63-66 at Bury, 86 appearances, 25 goals, 66 to 79 with City, 492 appearances, 152 goals. There's always a bit of debate over these appearances and goals, but that's the stats I've seen anyway in the Hall of Fame figures. 1968 to 75 with England, 48 appearances, 9 goals. And of course, he's on his First Division 67-68, Second Division 65-66, FA Cup 69, League Cup 1970, Cup Winners' Cup 1970, and Charity Shield 1968 and 72. And there's a great image of here of Colin Bell scoring against Spurs in 1971. Not the famous Bally on Ice, that was a game after that. I think that was a game after that. Picture of the Platt Lane in the background, which I would no doubt have been either. I think I would have been sat on the front row. I used to sit on the front row when I wasn't going with my dad. When my dad died in about 1970. So I went with my mates and we used to sit right behind the goal in the front row. So I do watch old things now and try and look for myself, but I never sort of catch myself, to be honest with you. If he had played today and had his name on his back, he certainly wouldn't have pointed to it, but he wouldn't have needed to. So it's just showing you his sort of how quiet the guy was and unassuming, you know. He didn't want to do any sort of, make any big fuss about anything sort of thing, you know. So some great images there in that the Evening News tribute there. Say too much, but I get done for copyright, won't I? Don't know, but hey, what the hell. Yeah, Colin Bell, King of the Kip-Outs, again by Simon Pekowski. Colin wouldn't just get in City's side today, he would lead it, absolutely. Stand aside, Kevin. Bell was a complete midfielder with pace, athleticism, drive, skill and determination, and would be world-class even in the modern game. Literally what I've just said, so there you go. Malcolm Allison ready to set Colin Bell off on a training run at Wythenshawe Park. Yeah, I used to go to Wythenshawe Park. I never bumped into the City team, to be honest with you, but obviously I probably went at a time they wouldn't be there. Obviously the image of Colin Bell during the famous Bally on Ice. Colin Bell holds the lofty FA Cup after beating Leicester. Colin Bell and Mike Summerby are mobbed as City won the league, so the picture at Newcastle obviously, and then you've got the Bell, Lee and Summerby image there. Colin Bell fancy Summerby celebrate with a cup of tea after training, or been called up to play for England by Sir Alf Ramsey. So there you go. He was always a good judge, wasn't he, Sir Alf Ramsey? But as I say, it's such a shame we missed out on the 1974 World Cup as well. I think obviously Colin would have really graced that if England had actually made it through. We hadn't somehow not managed to beat how we didn't beat Poland, and I think I mentioned in the Colin Bell tribute, even Colin Bell can't understand how we didn't. It was just the most one-sided game you've ever seen. Middle pages, Colin Bell, King of the Kip-Outs, will drink a drink to Colin the King, the King, the King. He's the leader of Man City. He's the greatest inside forward that the world. In that song, why did they just extend the world? We never used to do that, and it's just annoying because you don't know when to carry on with the song. It just ruins it for me. But there you go, the world has ever seen, and some great action pictures there in the middle pages with the words. Yeah, so please, I mean, I know it'll happen if we get back to the Etihad and we start singing the song. We'll do the world, you know, the world will be extended, but I can't just extend it a little bit and carry on with the song, because it just totally ruins the whole effect. And for me anyway, I don't know what you think. Simon Pekowski, it's all Simon Pekowski. I thought there'd be sort of words from other people, to be honest with you. It's obviously Simon Pekowski on different stages of Colin Bell and different attributes, of course. The King is still inspiring the next generation of City heroes. He may have been a club legend, but he's also a huge blues fan, and his legacy ensures the drive for success will continue at the Etihad Stadium. Now, yeah, I mean, when he did leave City, as I said in my tribute, I did actually speak to Colin Bell on the phone, and he wasn't that bothered with football, but I think was that him being modest and not really being that interested, because I did want to interview him for a magazine at the time. So, you know, he did tell me he wasn't that bothered with football, but you do get this, like he's always, of course he probably was a City fan, but he obviously had his business interest, didn't he? So yeah, perhaps he wasn't that thing, but obviously early 90s they dragged him back, didn't they? So I'm sure they didn't drag him back screaming to help out on the youth side, and then obviously come an ambassador and stuff like that. So he probably was still a big City fan, but so I mean a bit. Yeah, so he did have a sort of time out, but there you go. I've done that. I've had time out, so I can't get to the games and I can't do it. So I sort of try and switch off a little bit, so that's probably a similar thing. You know, I had businesses and stuff, and I was working 24/7 for months and months on end. And you do tend, because I love City, you do tend to sort of turn off to it because it's too upsetting not to be there. So yeah, it's probably the same sort of thing, to be honest with you. Some personal memories from different people. I'll just read out a couple. 1894 hero, R.I.P to the King, too young to see him play, but met him a couple of times. A true gentleman and a true great. I'll be having a drink and watching some old footage of the legend this weekend. Gutted, yeah. One day at York City. Pity he wasn't 50 years younger. 2019 treble winning midfield. De Bruyne, Bell and Silva. Well, not bad. That wouldn't have been a bad midfield, would it? Genuine world class. How much would he be worth in today's market? Rest in peace. Beer required. St Mark's 1884. St Mark's 1884. I think the best misprint, surely. Colin the King will always be my footballing hero. Such a wonderful player who had everything. A humble and lovely man. Rest in peace, Colin. You will live forever in all true blues hearts. No, it's quite right, that isn't it? 1884 St Mark's. 1894 was Manchester City, wasn't it? So my apologies. Yeah, that's some memories. So, yeah, it's nice that the actual Evening News have put some stuff on that's obviously just normal City fans have sort of sent in little comments, etc. That's nice to see, and there's some more here on the next page. And we got a little Mr. Bukowski's not on this one. Chris Odstick and Andy Hampson, and obviously quoting Guardiola, we have to play and defend the legacy of Colin. Yeah, I saw that quote after the game. City boss pays tribute to the King while pal and teammate Summerby hails Bell as the greatest player ever to have pulled on the sky blue shirt. He was simply the complete player, and no one will ever forget what he did for our club. So it goes to talk about the second comeback game against Newcastle. It wasn't the first comeback game. But Colin Bell rises challenge from Franz Beckenbauer. So there's a nice image of Franz Beckenbauer. Some more fans' comments. Robert Fielding, the best player I've ever seen, a gentleman sportsman, outstanding athlete. He could head, shoot, dribble and run fast the whole game. In his day, the pitches were heavier, the ball heavier, and the tackles were tougher. They certainly were. I was there the night he got injured. I was there the day he attempted his comeback. The guy's a legend and will never be forgotten by anyone at City. Yeah, I mean, how... If you think about a 4-0 win against United, all right, it's a League Cup game, but any 4-0 win against United was a moment of joy, but it was a real sour taste in the mouth, that because you just knew something. It was bad. You just knew that. Obviously, you didn't bring the stretchers on in those days and carry players off that needless, for no reason whatsoever. I think in here actually there's an image of that. I missed that. I didn't, obviously I didn't emphasise it, did I, when I was reading about it? But yeah, on the stretcher, you just didn't bring the stretcher on in those days unless it was something really bad. And for a player like Colin Bell, there's no way that guy would actually go off on a stretcher unless he couldn't do anything else. So I think we all knew at the time, and obviously it was to prove just how bad it was. And in those days, obviously we didn't have the wonderful technology we have now, did we? So more wonderful medical stuff we can do now. So a great thing. Just one last one on here. Let's have a look and see if. I'll leave it. It wasn't me. He wrote, my hero standing on the Kippax in the 60s and 70s. He was. Met him in 2019. They say never meet your heroes. Glad I didn't listen. Rest in peace, King Colin. Yeah, rest in peace, King Colin. And then it finishes on the end. R.I.P. legend there on the back with the guys wearing the number 8 shirt. So. Absolutely fantastic. I did mention, I think in the last thing, Leslie Ross has done some artwork as well, and that will be put up for auction to go to some money to go to charity as well. So keep your eye out for that. I'll let you know what's going on with that. I've not heard anything since about that anyway. But rest in peace, legend. Colin Bell, number 8. I got told actually, because I was say I could never have number 8 on my shirts because my mum couldn't sew the number 8 on the. You could get them off Salford Market. Well, I didn't live nowhere near Salford. I lived in Withington. I haven't got a clue. If I tell you what, if I had known you could get numbers like that and put on my shirt, I would have had my mother going and getting some. I just assumed you couldn't. I just assumed you had to make your own. I didn't know you could actually buy them. But he was talking about Salford Market. I'm not sure if he was talking late 60s, early 70s, a little bit later in the 70s when Colin Bell was still playing. I'm not too sure. Certainly something that never, if I'd have known that, I would have been mithering my mother to go and get me a number 8 definitely, rather than putting number 7 and number 11. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind being Tony Coleman and Mike Summerby, but I wanted to be Colin Bell. Simple as that. It's not bad. It's okay, isn't it? It's not fantastic. I mean, I'd like to see a better tribute, perhaps with an official Manchester City link with it. That'd be fantastic. Because there's no way. I've not read Reluctant Hero. I've never read Reluctant Hero, to be honest with you. I was trying to think back if I had at some stage, but obviously with it coming out in 2006, I just hadn't. I think if it had been earlier, an earlier book, I probably would have read it, because I did a lot of reading in the 80s and 90s of City autobiographies and players linked with City. But I missed out on that one. So if you're lucky enough to have one, if someone can lend me a copy, that'd be fantastic. Let me know, and I'll pay the postage, and it'd be fantastic. Or obviously I can't afford for. I mean, I'd love to pay £40 odd. I can't justify paying £40 odd for the book, unfortunately. But please, Ian, get it reprinted, get it back out there so we can have it again. Please, all right to Ian Cheeseman, all my everyone on Twitter and Facebook, and ask him to get his publishers to republish this, a sort of limited amount perhaps, but I'm sure they'd sell a few thousand now. I'm sure they would strike while the iron's hot. These guys usually know how to make money, don't they? So a tenner a pop, I'm sure he'd sell quite a few. I mean, I'd I'd probably buy 2 or 3, to be honest with you, and give 1 or 2 away to people I know. Anyway, thanks for watching. What are you going to do with the estate? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again here on the Citizen channel, please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Come on, the King, Colin Bell. We'll have a drink on you. Again, why not? Let's have another drink. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.